Hey lifers, Breakabilly coming to you from the garage again. And another working in the shop day. So I have something very special here. This is the Terraflex crankcase vent system. And what this system does is, as you know, on 3.6 liters that are in the JK and the JL, they are known to smoke when they get at high angles. And I have this issue pretty bad. So what happens is the oil starts traveling to the back of the crankcase, and also in the back of the valve train and everything in the back of the motor, and it starts getting sucked up into the PCV system. So the PCV is positive crankcase ventilation system, and what that does is it releases the gases from inside the motor up into the intake. So it's going to add in this ball valve check system that sits over on the side of the engine, and as the engine gets to a certain angle, it rolls back and closes that system, or opens it, and vice versa. So we are able to pull air out of the crankcase at a different location. And where that location is it's right off of the oil fill valve, or the oil fill neck. So we're going to be able to put these two apparatus into the system, and that is going to prevent that nasty smoking when we're out off-roading. So in the box, it includes all your zip ties that you need, all of the 90-degree bends and T-fittings and everything like that. It includes a check valve, so one-way check valve. It includes all your tubing that you need, really nice hose. So let's start diving into this. So the first step in the instructions actually says to go through and install all of your 90-degree fittings into your base structures. So I went ahead and added a little bit of Teflon on the threads and started to thread that into the filler neck and into the ball check valve. And then from there, I was able to use the two 10mm bolts and attach the ball check valve to the bracket itself. As you can kind of hear, when it moves back and forth, that ball rolls back and forth inside of that chamber. Additionally, it says to install the small O-ring onto the end of this filler neck so no oil leaks out. So that's real simple like that. And then we need to start assembling some of the hosing. So per the instructions, I believe we're going to use the small pieces first, and the ball and the check valve with some of the hose clamps. So let's get into that right now. So next we are going to assemble these small check valve into these hosing. So it says to put the check valve in a thatward direction per the instructions, which it flows. There is a small little arrow on it, so we're going to insert it into the one side here like so, and then insert it into the other end of the tube like that. I'm just making my hoses line up, and then we are going to use two of the small hose clamps to put this together securely. So the only two small hose clamps that are in the packaging. So I'm going to use a pair of pliers. Those clamp like so, and slide it on to the end, just like that. Just applies a little bit of tension to the system so there's no possible leak. All right, so that's together. Next, we have to make the first section of hosing. So we need to take the long section here, insert it into the first neck down piece. So we are going to insert it like so. Pushing that on there. Just like that. That is a tight fit for sure. Next, we are going to take one of the smaller sections and insert it onto the other end, just like so. Then the 90-degree fitting. Just like that. And then one more, which will be going in that downward direction. Like so. And we are good to go. Lastly, the hose clamp will go on the end of here. Now we have to assemble the longer section of this tubing. So I have all of the fittings, and it uses the last bit of fitting. So the neck down, the 90, and the T fitting. So to start this one out, it actually uses number 9, which I have to look. The instructions are very detailed, which is nice. Number 9. All right, so it uses 8 is the 7-inch. So the 7-inch goes on the inside. Okay, so we're gonna start like so. All right, so that one goes on the inside. The longer one goes on the outside. This end. Okay, then the neck down goes on next. Oh. All right. Okay, got that. Then small piece. The 90. Next to 90. It is a snug fit, let me tell you. So the 90 goes off the back like so. One last one. And then there should be one more hose clamp. Okay, so I found a hose clamp, and next we have to insert this tube with the flow going into this tube. So we grab that and insert on there like so. All right, so I have the first one, the next one, the brackets set up, and the filler neck. Next, we need to head over to the vehicle and start taking some components off of that. So first we need to remove the air intake elbow. So undo this one, undo the one on the actual vehicle. Cut some zip ties, holding stuff together. Alright, so get that zip tie out. pops off, undo the plug, air temp sensor, take that out, set it to the side quickly. And next we need an 8mm to remove the throttle body bolts or screws to put in the bracket. So that's one. That's two. Next we're going to take this bracket and bolt it in this configuration. So it's going to come right there. And we're going to that's one. That's two. So it says to torque to 5 foot-pounds. That's pretty much just like hand tight, in my opinion. So that's all taken care of. All the valves are in. Next, we need to remove the oil filler neck. So it says use a flathead screwdriver to pry up. Let me grab a flashlight. So requires removing that tab, which just kind of breaks off at this point. These are the heat, and then you just remove the filler neck like so. Pops right out of there, just like that. You need to save your engine oil cap, and we're going to be putting in the Terraflex new filler neck. So that goes into the space, just like so, and rotate, making sure that the correct orientation of this 90-degree fitting is in the right location. Cool. So now that's in, and let's check for the next step. All right, now it just says to put the engine oil fill cap back on. Sweet. So the next step is to actually disconnect the PCV valve hose, like so, and we need to cut it right on the inside of that line. So I think the best option is just to use a cutoff wheel. Perfect. That was the best and easiest option, and probably the cleanest too. Not much residue. Took care of it. Lickety split. All right, so now we need to route the new hose on the inside of the factory hose. So that one goes like so. So it goes onto here. adjusting the all right. I move the hose clamp towards the end. Perfect. That's on there. Next, we need to route this down underneath. Up and in. In. Next, keep rooting this around. Routing it around into the intake. Just like so. Home, and we can reattach. And there we go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Little trim job and back in business. Alright. So this tightens down. Move the clamp to the desired location on that tube. Just like so. Next, we have to connect the intake tube. So let's throw a little lube on that one too. Alright, so this one tucked on. Not the easiest thing to... Alright, I'm going to try something else. Take out the bracket. Put it on. power on. Now we can put the screws back in. Everything is together. Just as intended. All right. Tighten the screws down. All right. Nice and tight. Remember, 5 foot-pounds on those suckers. All right, next we just have to put the air elbow back in. Real simple here. Make sure you plug in your temp sensor first. Next. Tighten one. All right, intake, tight on there. Next, gotta get the air cleaner. And lastly, just a couple zip ties to hold everything together. Just like always. And we're done. All right, guys, so that is the install on the Terraflex crankcase vent system. So that helps your PCV valve system run a whole lot better and cleaner for the system when you're up at higher angles. So Breakabilly in the garage again, big Jeep wave to you. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Catch you on the next episode.